Hey Wastelanders, this is Gary from The Last Ranger, and today I'm just gonna sort of ramble on about a couple different subjects. First off, I'm carrying today this Jesse Jered's folder that I don't think it has a name other than that. I think it's called the Jered's folder. So, if you're interested, and it's a 7505. It's made for K-Bar. It's made in Taiwan. I think America likes Taiwan. And America likes Taiwan enough to go into another war with China, just to save Taiwan. Anyway, this is not a political channel. I just was thinking, I should state where it was made. And Taiwan is our friends. This only opening method is a thumb studs, a pair of thumb studs, and I believe it's probably on phosphor bronze washers, or probably, if I'm right, I took another K-Bar folder apart and it was on kind of nylon washers. I haven't taken this apart, I'll admit. But if you look, there's some kind of white in there that's probably on nylon washers. I should take this apart and put on phosphor bronze washers. I don't know if some companies, what is that company called that makes bearings, really good bearings? I'm drawing a blank on the name. I bought this knife and put on, I bought the bearings that company produces. Yeah, I'm always forgetful. So, anyway, I like this knife. I carry it a lot, and I don't really do many videos, and I don't often say I carry it. This is a hollow grind. It's in Oz 8A steel. So that's I think it's a Japanese steel, and probably everyone hates Oz 8 and Oz 10 or Oz 6, but I don't find a problem with it. Jesse Jered's is he on his site. I'll show you guys on his site. So Jesse Jered's is the maker of, this is a custom knife. You see it kind of resembles this knife. This is called the M75, I believe, and this is AEBL steel. He tends to use that kind of steel a lot, but he's using magnet cut nowadays. He changed this. I believe this is the same knife he has as a compression lock these days, but this is not a compression lock. This is a liner lock, but he's created quite a few compression locks. I probably won't ever be able to pick up his knives because his knives go for a lot. He always auctions it off. I don't understand. I wish he would just make 10 knives and just sell them pick a price and sell them from his site, and not auction off the rights to buy the knife. So this knife is originally sold, I think it's $5.95, but I believe his newer knives with a compression lock go for upwards to $800 to $1,000 maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're watching, Jesse. So I probably will never own one of these. I wish I would. And the compression lock and the magnet cut steel, but I probably won't because I'm poor. It has a special tool to unlock the pivot, but I like the pivot. I love the cross. As you can see on my lanyard, I have the cross too. So I'm very fond of the pivot, even though it's a, what do you call it? Proprietary hardware. or if you didn't have the tool, you couldn't take it apart. So let's get a look at this number again in case you want to pick it up. This is a knife that comes in FRN handles. You know, I haven't thought about it, but I was thinking today, I like this knife so much, I would be willing to send this knife to some custom maker, like for instance, Bill. He goes by ProX on YouTube. ProX will he does custom scales and all kinds of shit. Maybe this would be a really good candidate to send him instead of my Sacra. I was thinking about sending my Sacra, but this would be a good candidate because I like everything about this knife, other than I would like maybe some canvas micarta scales to set it off. Fits well in the hand. I dig his pocket clip. You know, it's not deep carry, but I dig the shape of it. I like his simple logo. I like this knife. So I'm going to be carrying this week. I have already started carrying this maybe a couple days ago. I was carrying this mainly around the house or outside my apartment. I haven't gone anywhere. Not going to leave and do anything till maybe Thursday and Friday. I'll probably have to be on the road for some point in time. I'll carry this, and I'm going to carry this just for the hell of it because I never carry this. This is a Ohio River Jack, but this is the double bladed version. I believe this was the numbered version. I think 100 made. I'm carrying this in my slip made by Infinite Design. It's like a slip that's made from a hank. It's hank material. It's very soft, very protective, and I like this slip because I can fit any knives in there. It's not leather. It doesn't have to be a certain shape. It just has to fit in there. So I'm going to be carrying this knife. I think this is the warning blade, and on the other side it's a spear point. And yeah, this is 65-100. I think I requested that because Last Ranger 1965, and I have several favorite numbers, but 65 is one of my favorites because that was the year I was born. So I'm going to be carrying this, and this is 2022. And I don't know if he has any of these left, but I like this with the green micarta. This is the Ohio River Jack. If you're not familiar with the Ohio River Jack, it's made by Traditional Pocket Knives. Well, it was made by QSP for Traditional Pocket Knives. It says Ohio River Jack on there, and this is the spear point. The spear point is a little bit hard for me to get out because I can't pinch it. C. Reisner Cutlery M390. So I'll be carrying this week. This slip joint. And let me go over a few other topics. So if you guys are not familiar with the month of May, nationaltoday.com, I was always have to check nationaltoday.com several times during the month, and I don't always like pick out holidays, but I was intrigued because this is the Zombie Awareness Month for the whole May of 2023. I used to be in charge of social media at my previous job, and my previous job was to design and write posts for certain Facebook websites, certain customers, and I always use nationaltoday.com to just get ideas on posts for social media. Anyway, this is Zombie Awareness Month. So Zombie Awareness Month is celebrated every May in the U.S. to raise awareness about the possibility of zombie apocalypse and what we should do in that situation. There is a very slim chance of a zombie apocalypse, I'm reading, but there's still a lot of fun to join in festivities. So they give the history of the holiday. So it says it started back in 2007 with the Zombie Research Society declared May as a Zombie Awareness Month. I don't know who that is. You can read about it. You can read all about it on this website if you're really interested. They gave the Zombie Awareness Month timeline. They give facts. What are zombie symptoms? It says, mad cow disease reduced the people to zombie-like state, and the systems such as seizures, twitchy muscles, hallucinations, and diminished coordination. So they give you activities, attend a convention, host a zombie party, watch your favorite zombie movies. So I'm going to give you guys some favorite zombie stuff of mine. As I was saying, I'm going to give some favorite zombie stuff of mine. It's mostly books. I find books more entertaining. I really don't like I like a good zombie series if it's stretched out to a mini series or something like that. A one-off movie is not my favorite. Other than I really like the original Dawn of the Dead, and I'm a very big fan of the remake from 2004, Dawn of the Dead. I'm a big George Romero fan. I've seen all his movies, but I've always been I always held a fondness for the Dawn of the Dead of the movie. So I'm going to recommend a books series. This is called The Arisen. This is a book series. I think there's 14 books in this series, and they came to an end, and I really didn't want it to end. It came to end a few years ago, but I was so hooked on this series. It's called The Arisen. The first book is Fortress Britain. So it looks at Britain as the last holdout country that didn't collapse from the zombie apocalypse, and they managed to, some special forces in the area managed to get to Britain, and they come from all around the world, and it just looks at this first novel looks at teams of units, special units that go on missions to either gain supplies or gain knowledge or rescue scientists and all kinds of stuff and bring them back to Britain to understand and possibly cure the plague. So there's 14 books in their series, and there's some wonderful characters. There's a team of all British soldiers they tell the story of those guys sometimes, and there's a elite team of that has British, American, and maybe Australian, and several other nationalities in the team. There's a special unit, and they go on the hardcore missions. Like you'll missions that people don't probably come back from. So this is a good series. I hope you guys check this out. This is only available in a book format, and it's a really good series. You can see I have all the books on Audible. This is a great format for me because during a stroke I had, I really can't read that well anymore. So this is another book about zombies. This is called the X series, EX, and then they have various titles after X. This is the first book called Heroes, and this is a book that takes place in a world where there are superheroes and supervillains. It doesn't follow the Marvel universe or the DC universe. It's kind of its own thing. I like it because it's funny and also it's serious at times. It's it's a good mix of funny and serious. So this starts out where the zombie apocalypse happens, and superheroes, they have different powers, but they're not immune to the zombie apocalypse. If you can get bitten, you'll get the zombie virus. So it takes place in the world where heroes are trying to save all humanity, and it takes place in one location. It's in Hollywood. Some heroes just made a fortress in Hollywood, and they protect all the people that they rescue from the zombie apocalypse, and they transport them to like a backstage movie studios in Hollywood, I believe. And so it's a lot of stories about heroes fighting villains that villains have bitten, or ex-heroes are bitten, and they still retain some of their like powers, but they're dead. It's kind of funny. So there's a hero that's it's kind of like a Superman hero. He can't be killed, and he's still a superhero. His like Superman, his skin is so tough, a zombie bite can't like pierce his skin, so he's kind of immune to it. So he's the main hero. And anyway, you should check it out. It's written by Peter Klein, and I believe Peter Klein, yeah. And there's only 5 books in the series, but I really love the book. I really love the series. So the third title I want to recommend is called The Remaining, narrated by Christian Rummel. And if you're familiar with Audible or books or stories that are written to you, Christian Rummel is the best in business. He's a really great reader. So this story is probably one of my favorites. I think this book stays faithful to like reality. I think this book stays faithful to reality. It doesn't like this. The main character, or the main hero in this story, is clearly not. He's not immune to being killed. He doesn't get killed in this book, this first series, and he's very much a really good operator, but he's clearly human. It's not like it. A lot of people get killed in this series, so you don't want to have your favorites in this series. So this series is, I think, this is the book 1. I think, yeah, it has 8 books in the series, and let's go back and read you The synopsis, the summary. In a steel and lead encased bunker 20 feet below the basement level of his house, a soldier awaits his final orders. On the surface, a plague rages on the planet, infecting over 90% of the populace. The bacterium burrows through the brain, destroys all sign of humanity, leaving behind little more than a base prehistoric instincts. The infected turn into hyper-aggressive predators and an insatiable desire to kill and feed. Someday this soldier will have to open the hatch to his bunker and step out into a new wasteland and complete the mission. Subvenir Rectus, to rescue and rebuild. You get a little bit of his backstory before the virus happened, but it mostly takes place after the virus happened. I believe there's maybe either 50 to a handful, maybe 60 or 70 soldiers that were selected to, mainly 1 or 2 per state, to have access to life-saving and rebuilding America type bunkers that were locked and only they have access to. So I believe he has access to all the bunkers in his state, and I kind of forgot what state he's in, but he's in a state that has several bunkers, and he while he lives in one bunker, he goes through a couple other bunkers to get supplies and arm people that against the zombies. The zombies are a little bit different. It's kind of the zombies in 28 Days Later. They really aren't dead until you make them dead. He has a dog in this book, and I feel for him because for months the only thing he could have a conversation with is his dog. I believe his dog is a German Shepherd, maybe something like that. Anyway, this is one of my favorite books. This is all my zombie. I could go on and list zombie stories that I'm very much in love with. They're mostly only books. I have some movies and some TV series or one-offs, mini series that I really like. Like if you're familiar with Netflix, and they have a series called Black Summer. I don't know if will continue on with it. They only have maybe 2 seasons of it. It's kind of like a zombie series I like because there's really no main characters. They're main characters, but as I was saying in some books, they're main characters for a few episodes and they may get killed. It's kind of like a set in reality. You're not a superhero and you can make a mistake and that mistake will get you killed. So I really recommend Black Summer. If you're not familiar with it, look it up on Netflix. Watch them in order because if a person lived through the first season, they'll surely show up in the second season because they're really quick episodes. They are anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes, but they're not consistently timed. And they take place every episode is like one, all the seasons is like one giant episode broken into a series. So I don't remember how many episodes of a season there is, but it's really different. So Black Summer takes place in the summer, and the season 2 takes place in the fall/winter. And I don't know if there be a season 3, it'll probably take place in the spring, but I don't want to give it anything away because I really like this idea of a type of show that's kind of sort of realistic, based on realism, you're not guaranteed to survive the zombie apocalypse. I probably wouldn't survive the zombie apocalypse because I'm not in the greatest physical condition. I have enough ammo to and enough food to stave off a zombie apocalypse maybe for 3 to 6 months. But if I have to leave my so-called bunker, I really live in an apartment, I would be screwed. So I just wanted to do this video to draw the awareness to the zombie apocalypse awareness month of May, and show you my carries for at least for this week. Let me know what you think of this knife, or let me know what you think of Jesse Jered's in knives. I have some Jesse Jered's fixed blades. I've shown them before, and I have another pocket folder by Jesse Jered's, but I chose to carry this one this week. I gave it a new lanyard. It used to have a different lanyard. I gave it a new lanyard this week. I wanted a lanyard that hung better off of it. The old lanyard didn't hang very well, and I felt it in my hand. With this, I don't feel it in my hand. And I wanted to give some love to the traditional pocket knives, Ohio Riverjack, particularly the double-bladed one. I may do a live, rambling alive, and maybe talk about with you guys, ask you what zombie TV shows or books or movies that you really like. Yeah, zombies and nuclear holocaust or anything that has to do with sci-fi and horror is really one of my favorite subjects. I like comedy too. I like comedy. If you can mix in some comedy with the horror, that's all the better for me. Alright, I'm going to let you guys go. Take care, Wastelanders.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes and embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab?